Hi, this is Mike with Scholtens Equipment, and today we're in our rental section. The reason being is I wanted to show you, we got a lot of rental excavators for one, but the second thing is these Kubota excavators have been around a long time, and so has their coupler. The mechanical coupler you see on every single one of these has been around for over 20 years. It's been a very bulletproof coupler. It's very simple, it's very inexpensive, and it's very popular. So a lot of guys that have Kubota excavators have this coupler so all their buckets interchange. Until I get to this machine. This is the newest excavator we added to our rental fleet, and it's got a very similar coupler. It actually has the same bucket lugging as you would see on the previous ones, but it's a different coupler. This is the hydraulic coupler that Kubota just came out with this past year, but other than other hydraulic couplers where you need different buckets, this coupler gives you the ability to use your existing buckets that you might have had with your old style coupler and use them with this hydraulic quick change coupler. And it uses the existing buckets that we're all used to and they're lugging. It just adds a hydraulic ram that grabs the pin. So the only thing you need to do different is leave the pin in the bucket, and you could use a hydraulic quick change coupler that Kubota just came out with. This is our first one we've installed on our machine, and we thought it'd be good, since it is the first one, to put it on our rental fleet to really test it out and see how the durability goes and see what customers think that rent from us quite often about this coupler. First things first, I can just tell you right now, I like the way the hoses are routed. I've seen a lot of pin grabbers that we've done in the past from third-party companies, and the number one complaint on a pin grabber is the hoses are always very vulnerable. On this one, the hose is pretty tucked away, and it's lined with a steel spring, and it looks pretty safe. The other thing I like about this coupler, it keeps everything really close. The bucket pins to the bucket, everything's really close, and what that does is give you better breakout force. They really didn't sacrifice any space. So if you have a pin grabber or any type of hydraulic quick coupler, usually your pins to bucket is a lot further away, so you don't have as much breakout force, lifting power, digging power. It just reduces your power. With this coupler, they really use the same pattern essentially as what you're used to on a 40 or 121-3. Anyways, I just want to show you this coupler. It's available. And the cool thing about this coupler, if you had a KX040 in the past or 121-3 and you wanted to do a pin grabber, it was expensive, still is. Pin grabber is going to cost you close to, like, from out of the if you got one new, it's going to be about $5 to $6 grand depending on the brand. With this, it's like 1,800 bucks versus getting a mechanical quick coupler, and that's what really got my attention. I'm like, I don't like to change bucket pins as much as anyone else, and this makes it easy, and it keeps the same buckets you're used to. The downfall, you might say, and I know there's gonna be some naysayers that say this, the downfall, a pin grabber, I mean this has versus a pin grabber, the pin grabber you can rotate your buckets around. This you cannot rotate your buckets around, but about 95% of all of our excavator sales leave with a mechanical quick change, where you can't rotate your buckets around anyway. So my thought was 95% of our customers are going to be okay with this. There's going to still be 5% of you that probably want to rotate your bucket around. You swear by it, and I understand that. It's a certain application. It works really good to rotate your bucket around so you could flip. But for those of you who don't want to rotate your buckets around, you're done pulling pins, and you want a simple hydraulic coupler, and you want to keep your existing 040 buckets, this is a perfect solution. Anyways, I want to show you how it works. Come on. So like any other pin grabber, hydraulic quick change on an excavator, they try to make it safe so you can't accidentally discharge your bucket and go flying. So anytime I've ever operated a pin grabber or any type of hydraulic quick change, I've always thought it's kind of like you got to know the trick. And there's a trick with this one as well. Let's turn it on first. The button, believe it or not, is under the armrest, so you can't even see it. Like the first time when I got on here, I didn't know where the button was. I was looking all over the place. Finally, I found it. It looks like you're going to launch the nuclear button to invade a different country, but that's what that looks like. It's a protected switch, so that's your switch. So what I like to do is lift the bucket up, and then what you do, it's kind of, you don't just flip the switch up. If you flip the switch up, it charges the system, so you have to hold it up like I am. And then it ties into a diverter valve on the boom sway. So once the switch is up, you do have to push the boom sway to the right. So I'm going to do that with my foot because that's a foot function. And once you do that, it unlocks it, and you can let off the boom sway. So what it did is it just unlocked the bucket. So now all I have to do but I have to keep my finger on that until the bucket's off. Once I let off this, you'll hear it. The pin goes back. We'll show you some close-ups of how that works. So if you got this far in the video, you probably are saying, let's see what this coupler looks like. And I'm with you. It's not in the bucket right now, so you can kind of see what it looks like. And you can notice the bucket's probably what you're used to seeing on a KX040 121, but it's got the pin through it. That's the only thing different on the bucket. Now come look at this coupler. So to hook the bucket back up, you could do one of two things. You could hold the lock mechanism open. What I like to do is get it close enough that it's almost on and then open the lock mechanism, and then the bucket falls into place. Let me show you how. I'm not a pro at this by any means. I don't do this every day, but I've done it a few times. So you get the bucket into place like you would on a pin-on bucket. Not a pin-on, the original quick change. You lift it up like so, flip it around like that. So the bucket's still not on. We still now have to open up our locking mechanism. So I'm gonna do that right now and show you how it clicks into place. See how it did that? So now once you let off the toggle switch in my left hand, it locks and the bucket is good to go. It's a pretty slick setup. And I'm pretty excited about it because it's not super expensive like a pin grabber is. Voila! Alright, so we showed you the coupler. I'm really excited to get this in the field in our rental fleet and get some feedback on it from regular rental customers that are really used to our old style not pin-on, but the original mechanical quick coupler from Kubota. I'm really excited to get their feedback, see how it tests in the field. And if you're interested in this, I did say it's $1,800 when you buy a new machine on top of, like, if you were to get a normal machine with a mechanical quick coupler, this is $1,800 more to get a hydraulic quick coupler. So if you have an existing KX040 121, it's going to be a little more than that, because you got to understand, I'm giving credit on the mechanical quick coupler that would normally come with a machine. So it's going to be a little bit more than that, but it's not very expensive in comparison to a big pin grabber setup that's going to be over $5-6 grand depending on the brands. And you have to get different buckets. This uses your current existing Kubota KX040 buckets, genuine Kubota buckets I should say. There are some fake ones running around there that won't probably mount up to anything. But anyways, if you're interested in this, give us a call, check us out online. Everything's pictured and priced, including the KX040-4 R1A, and we'll have a quick coupler option so you can see the pricing on there. Thanks.